season 3 to All Star 7, I know, girls have always talked about, behind the scenes production and how things were different.
Uh-huh.
Was there a big difference in season 3 to All Star 7 when it comes down to like conditions and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, the food 10, 11 years later, definitely an improvement. Season 3 food was absolute garbage. It was actual like dog food. In fact, I remember on one of our breaks when the cameras were off, they had presented us with our lunch for the day, and it was a gray mass, a gelatinous gray mass in a styrofoam container, and I refused to eat it, and I threw it across the workroom, and it hit the pink wall, because it was disgusting.
Ew.
So yeah, they fixed that. They fixed the food part over the years. What else? They also provided you with an entire like wall of supplies. So if you needed a nail, if you needed nail glue, if you needed stockings, if you needed hairspray, if you needed an eyelash, a glue gun, duct tape, they had an entire area for you, which did not exist in season 3. You really had to bring your own things, and that was very different. Let's see what else. And they were just kind of generally more organized.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little more chaotic in season 3, and I think they kind of they had their pattern down.
Yeah.
By the time I got there the second time.
When it comes down to conceptualizing outfits, how does your brain work? Like, are you like when you were given the categories for All Star 7, were you looking at a category and then something just automatically come in your brain? Like, how does that work?
I can only explain it as just kind of ADHD, panic, and like excitement. So it goes together. It's both excitement and panic, and then I go through an entire like mood board that already exists in my head of millions and millions and millions of concepts, and then I start. And I design it, perhaps I illustrate it and draw it out and do a rendering. But what has to happen is an armature has to begin. So I just start, and then I just keep going, and I keep going, and then it changes, and then it tells me that it doesn't want to go in the way that you think you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to speak to me, and then I keep going, and I move with it, and I allow the shapes and the emotion to kind of just happen. And that happens all the time. In my life. So that's just how I create, and I just go with the mood.
There's a lot of ADHD brain.
A lot of ADHD.
I would love to know from you, you said on Very Delta that Rue went crazy for your laser outfit.
She did, yeah.
And you also said that there were a lot of moments that didn't make it to camera that you wish would have.
That was definitely one of them, because I was on Drag Race once, and I've heard Rue's reactions to people's costumes, but never had I ever heard her scream so loud. I mean, like literally screaming my name, like, Rasha, what the fuck? Oh my God. They didn't use any of it. And it made me feel really, really good. And a lot of the other girls backstage were like, oh my God, Rue's losing her mind. And I'm like, I know, this is great. This is like, it's making me feel better. And there's the infamous conversation that I had between Michelle Visage and I wish there was a little bit more of that, because I think if people really kind of saw what the tone and the vibe of it, they would understand that it was in a place of just kind of humor and like kind of like Michelle Visage is like, her and I are like, we're a year apart. So, so I feel like I can throw it back at her.
Yeah.
I'm not coming in there as a newbie. Like I've said, I'm like, I did her makeup for her book. And she's wearing my outfit, the same outfit that I'm wearing on that episode where you see all the queens lined up together after season 7, season 8.
Oh, yeah.
The outfit that I'm wearing with the rhinestone dog mask, that's the same dress that Michelle Visage is wearing on the cover of her book, her first book. So she can't say nothing to me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're my girl. Like, I have your phone number. You're only a year difference from me. We learned the same shit at the same time. So the back and forth was that. It was more like, it wasn't me being defiant. It wasn't me. Well, it was me being defiant, but in a humorous way. It was very funny. It was lighthearted. There was a lot of laughter that was happening in the room. And, you know, it wasn't anything that was uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And I wish more of that would have been shown because it was really, really, really fun. Like I don't look back at that as a negative experience. In fact, I look back at it as like, oh my God, that was fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have showed more of that. So just to clear that part up.
That was a very iconic season. You were the queen of She Done Already Done Had Herses.
Mm-hmm.
How was it, the reception from a totally different audience, from people that are now coming to get to know Raja?
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. I loved every single minute of it, even in the difficult parts. You know, it was, you know, being on Drag Race, if you don't understand what it's going to be like, if you ever decide to audition for it, there's a lot of like this concept of sensory deprivation. And you are you are definitely away from your social media, you're away from your family. And I knew that was going to happen. But even with all of those difficulties, I still think it was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. I was excited to do the All Stars. I love being on TV and I love doing drag on TV and I love showing off. I'm a Gemini, so we're just kind of like narcissists in that way. But I am excited to have gained more fans. I'm excited to still get to travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not every queen that's ever participated on Drag Race, even winners, you know, have had the opportunities that, that I've had, you know, and just kind of getting to see the world and meeting friends and gaining new experiences. All it did for me being on All Stars was it just catapulted me even further. And I can definitely focus on the art part now, you know, because everyone got to see what I do on TV, but there's a whole artist behind it that really kind of generates all of these concepts and ideas. So, yeah.
I love too that, you know, you said earlier the fact that Raja isn't too far away from yourself. Like it kind of is yourself. So being able to see that full, you know, development on All Star 7, you're your authentic self the whole time.
Yeah, there's also moments in the show with like, you know, with connections that some of us queens had, like Jada and I in particular. And Jada would call me the guru, or she'd be like, anytime she'd mention anytime that she had like, where she's feeling bad, she would come and sit next to me. And that's the role I have actually in my life with my friendships. You know, I am a person who tries to tap into the energies of the universe. And I really kind of encourage my friends to do the same. And people definitely come to me for advice. But, you know, I consider myself to be a very, very spiritual person. And all of those things were definitely a part of what people got to see on All Stars. That, you know, I'm not just this like, you know, season 3, like, aggressive, bitchy, you know, queen with something to prove. I am a person with actual ideas and I care a lot about people. And my spirituality is a big part of my life. So, yeah.